Welcome to Culture Screen, where we analyze culture. In this episode, we are summarizing the 7th episode from Season 4 of the Sopranos series titled Watching Too Much Television. The episode first aired on October 27th, 2002. In the beginning, Brian, the cousin of Carmela who lives in the civilian world, is further drawn into Tony's group by Tony's invitation to the Bada Bing's Welcome Home celebration for recently released Paulie Walnuts. The only partygoers still there the following morning are Brian, Tony, and Ralph. During a brunch date, the topic of real estate comes up, and Brian casually brings up a HUD fraud scheme he learned about in college. Tony and Ralph are sufficiently impressed to pull off the scam for themselves, despite Tony and Ralph's insistence that they are only conversing as friends. Tony presents the idea to Assemblyman Zellman and Maurice Tiffin, a business partner who oversees a non-profit organization that can be used as a front to acquire abandoned buildings. They accept the plan after meeting with Tony, Ralph, Zellman, and Tiffin. After their discussion, Zellman tells Tony that he has been seeing Irina, who used to be Tony's guma. Tony then tries to act as if he is not concerned by this. Adriana eagerly seizes the chance and asks Christopher to arrange a wedding date after learning that the wife of someone on trial cannot testify against their husband while watching an episode of Murder One on TV. Christopher is open to the idea, but when the subject of having kids comes up, Adriana admits that she might not be able to get pregnant. Angered by this, Christopher leaves the building in a hurry and uses drugs in his car. Christopher then seeks advice from Tony, Silvio, and others, all of whom urge him to marry Adriana, despite the possibility of her not being able to give birth. Paulie is himself a lifelong bachelor and an outlier, and he believes that marriage life and the street life do not mix. But no one really listens to what he has to say on the matter. Adriana informs the other mafia woman that the wedding plans have been finalized. Carmela is especially happy about this good news. While touring AJ around Newark, we see Tony first points out a church and remarks on its integrity, attributing it to the commitment and skill of Italians like his grandfather. Tony's history lesson largely piques AJ's lack of interest. Later, when they visit the residences Tony intends to flip, he gets into an argument with two individuals who are upset Tony is in their neighborhood, and they ask him to leave. AJ and Tony proceed to make fun of them instead. Tony finally decides to leave when the man displays to Tony that he has a firearm. Tony, of course, does not want to start a fight while his son is with him. We see that AJ is much more interested in this encounter than any of the other stories and speeches Tony and him had earlier. In another scene, we catch up with Tony complaining about his son's distorted priorities during a meeting with Dr. Melfi, but she shifts the conversation to Tony's temper issues by bringing up his recent outburst in her office after learning of Gloria Trillo's passing, as well as other instances in which he was physically intimidating to Dr. Melfi. Tony uses the de-escalation of the conflict with the two crack addicts who confronted him while he was with AJ as an example of how his temper issues have in fact improved. Dr. Melfi wants Tony to treat her with the same patience he demonstrated the two crack addicts he described in their session. Remember, I am summarizing the entire series, so subscribe and click on the notification bell to be reminded when I upload the next episode. I will be reviewing other TV shows and movies as well, so let me know what your favorite TV show or movie is so I can summarize it in the future. Doing these two things helps my channel out tremendously. I thank you for your support. In another scene, as Tony meets with Tiffin and Zellman, Furio is seen waiting in the car and perusing through an envelope of photos in the car. He stops to concentrate on a photo of Carmela. He then calls Carmela under the guise of checking if he left a pair of sunglasses at her house. He calls her and uses the occasion to remark on how beautiful she looks in the pictures. As soon as Carmela catches on to Furio's flirtation, she immediately redirects the phone call into a more professional direction. Both quickly withdraw from their overt flirtation. The next time Furio goes to pick up Tony, Furio declines to enter the Soprano residence for coffee because of fear that he has gone too far. We see this disappoints Carmela, who was ready and waiting for him to arrive. We then see Adriana casually mentions the prohibition against compelling a spouse to testify against one another, while she and a bridesmaid try on wedding gowns. The bridesmaid disputes this and says it's an urban legend. Adriana seeks legal advice and learns the specifics of the relevant statute and receives the quick response that she may still be forced to testify even after she marries Christopher. The FBI agents, on the other hand, are excited about the forthcoming marriage, and they see the wedding as an opportunity to bring Adriana closer to the Soprano crime family rather than seeing it as a barrier. As a result of this revelation, Adriana finds it challenging to maintain a positive attitude during her bridal shower. Paulie meets Johnny Sack face to face, and we see he continues to inform Johnny about the details of the DeMeo crime family. Paulie even tells Johnny about the HUD operation Tony is running. Johnny is annoyed that Tony is conducting the deal without involving him, and this is made even worse when Paulie adds that Tony and Ralph Cifaretto are primarily responsible for the swindle. We see Johnny still has not recovered from Ralph's joke about Jeannie. In the meantime, Tony pays Zellman's home an unexpected visit. After briefly running into Irina, which makes Tony a bit uneasy, he gets to work and informs Zellman that the drug dealers occupying the HUD residence need to be removed in order for the home's piping to be removed. The total value of the pipes would produce an extra $7,000. Despite his reluctance, Zellman assigns Tiffin the duty, advising him to use some of the students from his after-school program to scare away some of the squatters because it would garner too much attention if a group of white men violently emptied out the properties instead. Even though Tiffin is hesitant to do this, none of the men want to lose out on the $7,000. We then see the children from the after-school program arrive at the block where Tony visited with AJ, and the group starts firing into the houses. The brother and sister that had challenged Tony earlier, as well as the woman's little child, are among the squatters who come out running. The woman's brother is hit by a ricocheted bullet, and the child is present to see the entire event unfold. When Zellman visits the properties while they are being stripped for more money, a small boy asks him if the houses would finally be fixed now, and this causes Zellman to feel remorse over what he took part in. Tiffin, who was previously quite idealistic, but has come to terms with the depravity of their activities after they have made their profit, hears Zellman's confession of guilt. While everything is going on, Tony invites Brian over to his house and gifts him a $15,000 watch as a prize for coming up with the HUD fraud scheme. Brian is shocked to find that the scam he revealed to Tony was actually put into practice. Later on, when Tony hears a She Lights song playing on the radio, he becomes emotional and irrationally drives over to Zellman's house late at night. Once in Zellman's room, he takes vengeance on Zellman for dating Irina. He begins to whip Zellman with his belt. Irina watches helplessly as Zellman lies on the ground in agony. That was episode number 46, titled Watching Too Much Television. To watch the next or previous episode summary, click on the link in the description or at the end of this video. If you enjoyed this summary, consider clicking like. It goes a long way toward helping me grow this channel. Also, consider supporting us on Patreon. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. See you on the next one.
We were gonna lead a revolution, Maurice.
The revolution got sold, Ronnie.
We upload new videos every week, so subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit the like button as well. Click the notification bell to be notified of when we upload these videos. See you on the next episode of Culture Screen.